Today our topic of discussion will be perineum and the perineal pouches. So let's see the boundaries of perineum. So perineum has a superficial boundary and a deep boundary. The deep boundaries of perineum are formed anteriorly by the pubic symphysis. This structure here is the pubic symphysis, and we can see that the anterior boundary is formed by the pubic symphysis part. The anterolateral boundary is formed by the istiopubic ramus. So this part here is the istiopubic ramus. Laterally it is formed by the ischial tuberosity. So this part here is the ischial tuberosity. Posterolaterally it is formed by the sacrotuberous ligament. So we can see that this ligament is extending from sacrum to the ischial tuberosity. So this ligament is called sacrotuberous ligament, and the posterolateral boundary is formed by the sacrotuberous ligament, and the posterior boundary is formed by the tip of coccyx. This is the coccyx, and so the posterior boundary is formed by the tip of coccyx. So repeating, the anterior boundary is formed by the pubic symphysis, anterolateral boundary by the istiopubic ramus, laterally by the ischial tuberosity, posterolaterally by the sacrotuberous ligament, and posteriorly by the tip of coccyx. Coming to the superficial boundaries, superficially the perineum is defined as the region bounded anteriorly by the scrotum, medially by the laterally by the medial aspect of the upper thighs, and posteriorly by the buttocks. If we dissect away the skin of the perineum, we encounter a superficial fascia which is known as the Colles fascia. So this here is the Colles fascia. This is the Colles fascia. It is a continuation of Scarpa's fascia of the abdomen. If we dissect away the Colles fascia, we can see that there are certain structures present below the Colles fascia. So deep to these structures is the perineal membrane. So this here is the perineal membrane. So the pouch which is present between the Colles fascia and the perineal membrane is known as superficial perineal pouch, and we can see there are certain structures present superficial to the perineal membrane but deep to the Colles fascia, that is, they are present within the perineal pouch. So these become the contents of superficial perineal pouch. This is the 3D view of the perineal region after Colles fascia has been removed, and this is the deep triangular perineal membrane, and the structures that we see between the Colles fascia and the deep triangular perineal membrane are the contents of superficial perineal pouch. Now let's see them one by one. This muscle here, this is the istiocavernosus muscle which covers the crura of the penis. This is the bulbospongiosus muscle covering the bulb of the penis. So let's dissect them. This is the crura of the penis, and this is the bulb of the penis. Now if we dissect the bulb of the penis, we can see urethra is also piercing the perineal membrane. So urethra also becomes a content of superficial perineal pouch. Zooming in, we can see two greyish ducts opening into the urethra. These are the ducts of the bulbourethral gland or Cooper's glands. So the duct of bulbourethral glands or Cooper's gland is also a content of superficial perineal pouch. What we also see is the posterior scrotal nerve. So the posterior scrotal nerve, and these are the internal pudendal arteries. So the posterior scrotal nerve and the internal pudendal artery along with its branches, the dorsal artery of penis and the deep artery of penis, are the contents of superficial perineal pouch. Deep to the perineal membrane is the levator ani muscle. Levator ani muscle is a compound muscle consisting of two parts, the pubococcygeus part and the iliococcygeus part, and a pouch is present deep to the perineal membrane and superficial to levator ani. This pouch is known as deep perineal pouch. This structure here is the ischial spine, and we can see a ligament extending from sacrum to the ischial spine. This is known as the sacrospinous ligament. This is the ischial tuberosity, and the ligament extending between sacrum and the ischial tuberosity is known as the sacrotuberous ligament. This is the greater sciatic foramen, and this is the lesser sciatic foramen. Now we can see a vein, an artery, and a nerve passing first through the greater sciatic foramen and then entering the lesser sciatic foramen. This is the pudendal nerve, this is the internal pudendal vein, and this is the internal pudendal artery. So these three structures first enter the greater sciatic foramen, then the lesser sciatic foramen, the lesser sciatic foramen, the internal pudendal vein, the pudendal nerve, and the internal pudendal artery enter the perineal region. So this here is the lesser sciatic foramen. This region here is the lesser sciatic foramen, and we can see the internal pudendal artery, the internal pudendal vein, and the pudendal nerve entering the perineal region, and they lie between the perineal membrane above and the levator ani muscle below. So the internal pudendal artery, the internal pudendal vein, and the pudendal nerve become a content of deep perineal pouch. Now we also see that this internal pudendal artery, after coming to lie in deep perineal pouch, pierces the perineal membrane, comes into superficial perineal pouch, and gives deep artery of penis and dorsal artery of penis, which are the contents of superficial perineal pouch. Similarly, the obturator nerve gives the pudendal nerve gives a perineal branch. So the perineal nerve is also a content of deep perineal pouch. Now the perineal nerve gives off a branch which is known as the posterior scrotal nerve, which pierces the perineal membrane, and we also saw that the posterior scrotal nerve is a branch of posterior scrotal nerve is a content of superficial perineal pouch. The internal pudendal artery, the internal pudendal vein, and the pudendal nerve and its branches are content of deep perineal pouch. Now to appreciate the other contents of the deep perineal pouch, we must dissect the perineal membrane. After we have dissected the perineal membrane, we can see urethra. So urethra pierces the levator ani, and then it comes to lie in the deep perineal pouch. Then it also pierces the perineal membrane, and along with the deep perineal pouch also becomes a content of superficial perineal pouch. Now we saw the duct of Cooper's gland as a content of superficial perineal pouch. What was not visible was the Cooper's gland or the bulbourethral gland. So the bulbourethral gland is a content of deep perineal pouch, but its duct is a content of superficial perineal pouch.